It's one of the purest sports cars of the last century. A car that helped give birth to drifting. It starred in an iconic anime, dominated its very own racing series. Hell, it even made the same tires for the Prius synonymous with fun. It's the Japanese boxer and the car we know and love today that's been killed off once and outright canceled twice. This is the death of a legend and everything that you need to know about the Toyota 86. Let's go. Okay. Real quick, if you're watching this, you're exactly the type of person who's going to want to know about this. We are launching the Ideal Collective, our very own car club where you could win a fully built Ideal ride. Yes, it's 100% free right now to sign up and learn about it when it drops. Click the link in the pinned first comment and get on the front lines. What are you waiting for? The GR86, a car so good that Toyota brought it into the Gazoo Racing family. A family that has won the World Endurance Championship title 4 times since its conception. See, Toyota was sick of the GT86 getting ragged on for having too little power and not enough torque. And I mean, it was kind of true, but not anymore. The current GR86 makes 228 horsepower and 184 foot-pounds of torque. And straight line speed, well, 0 to 60 comes in just 6.1 seconds. And top speed, okay, yeah, that's not that impressive, but slow car fast, right? And it's a driver's car through and through. It's got GR-tuned front and rear suspension, aluminum doors and roof for weight reduction, exterior vents that play tricks with aerodynamics, a death bill spoiler that stabilizes high-speed handling, and a special optional color called Track bRED, the small b. Clever, huh? In fact, they're so proud of the GR86's performance that they just casually give its owners a 1-year membership to the National Auto Sports Association, where you can learn how to absolutely rip on your very own car. But that's not even the best part, ladies and gents. That is saved for the GR86 Trueno. Yeah, that's right. Toyota's trying to style you like Takumi over here. This brand new version gets Brembo brakes, upgraded dampers, a Trueno style graphic of course, and only 860 of these things are being made. Get it? Because 86 is the name? Never mind. But where did all this Trueno business come from? And how did the 86 get to this point?
In the early 1980s, Toyota was developing the 5th generation Corolla, and they had 3 goals for their next rendition. It needed to showcase their new tech, make the transition from rear-wheel drive to the much more affordable and easy-to-produce front-wheel drive, and appeal to younger buyers. And that second point was actually the main priority for the Corolla's chief product director, Fumio Agatsuma. With the added his way, the new Corolla was going to be front-drive, inexpensive, and prioritize fuel economy over driver engagement. Luckily for us, his team said, hell no, the enthusiasts will have your head. Well, I'm assuming that's the gist of it. Surprisingly, he listened, and the 5th gen E80 Corolla was born with either configuration possible. The base car is built on Toyota's legacy of inexpensive quality transportation, and the rear-drive AE86, or the Sprinter Trueno in Japan, carried the torch as the entry-level sports car, much like it does today. 2 unique body styles, a hot new 4-banger, and amongst the first cars to ever be designed with help from a computer. But despite the hype, the Corolla was the dark horse of the entire lineup. While the rest of the trims were messing around with some stupid tech that would never catch on called front-wheel drive, the AE86 was dead set on improving the previous generation's rear-drive mantra. And boy, did they ever.
The AE86 was the perfect blend of performance, engagement, and reliability, earning it an instant cult following. Science says it was more aerodynamic than the then current Porsche 911. Take that, Germans! It went on to star in literally the best car anime ever made, and just like that, every little kid wanted to deliver tofu, which is what tofurkey comes from, right?
What?
But underneath all the fame was a very simple car. All of its angry 120 horsepower came from an adorable yet furious 4A GE inline 4. Suspension was just the basic 4-link setup like on most other Corollas. And the steering was good old rack and pinion for that excellent road feel. And the transmission? Shift it yourself, of course. If you see one of these on the road, technically it will be one of 2 different flavors. Please excuse my Japanese. Zenki or Kouki, these stood for pre-facelift version and post respectively. But wait, I think it's missing something. Oh, yeah, This was one of the first drift cars in history. And that's all thanks to the Drift King, Keiichi Tsuchiya. This guy, who worked like 5, 6, 7 different jobs at a time, including bouncing clubs, making meatballs, and teaching surfing lessons to afford his new 86 in the mid-1980s. And he figured out with just a little tuning, this car was straight up magic on the Touge, and the legend of the Hachiroku was cemented into automotive history. But it was killed off. Toyota was growing into a huge, reliable family car brand. And when the hot little MR2 took over as the entry-level dog, the 86 went radio silent for more than 2 decades.
Okay, here's the thing. Toyota had never really had huge success selling sports cars. Take the Mark IV Supra and the LFA, for instance. Both cars that were complete flops for the company's shareholders. And to corporate, the public's plea for fun cars didn't matter because they didn't make money.
No more money?
And add on top of that a $300 million merger between Toyota and Subaru, who was also a reliable family brand, but with the thing for all-wheel drive. So, the odds of this popping out of that collaboration were about as close to zero as you could get. The world viewed the brand as the king of the econobox, a company whose cars were about as heart-pounding as the rush hour traffic they were designed for. And people were straight up losing interest in not only Toyota, but in cars as a whole. A fact that Toyota's CEO at the time, Akio Toyota, aka Morizo, which, side note, we have this ideal shirt you can buy of him dancing on an 86, simply could not stand. Now, I'm not saying Morizo himself had this design sketch put squarely on top of the pile of future product proposals, but against all odds, the pitch for a 2-seat, 2-door, rear-drive sports car with an agenda to reignite the enthusiast flame for the brand was greenlit. Enter certified cool guy Tetsuya Tada. He was hired by the Toyota family specifically to revive the Toyota sports car segment and tackle this mystery project. Tall f***ing order if you ask me. But Tada wasn't messing around. This project was balls to the wall, folks. They didn't even set benchmarks for this car. There were literally 2 engineering and design constraints. It had to be rear-wheel drive, and above all else, it had to be huge fun to drive. Tada's team was inspired by the original 86's philosophy of lightweight and simplicity, as well as the Toyota Sports 800 and its Boxer engine that provided a low center of gravity. But Toyota didn't make a Boxer. So they asked the Subaru boys to cough up the blueprints for their Flat 4. And that didn't exactly go over well. Subaru wasn't interested in co-developing anything, let alone lending Toyota spare engines. That is until Tada and the team built a rear-drive prototype based on a Subaru legacy and lent them the car. But there was still a problem. Toyota needed 100 horsepower per liter and 160 grams per kilometer of emissions from the Boxer without using a turbocharger to keep costs down. But to meet those emissions goals, power dropped to just 60 horsepower per liter. Just wasn't gonna work. So Tada phoned a friend, namely Haruhiko Tanahashi, the chief engineer of the Lexus LFA, who discovered that with the correct bore and the use of Toyota's new D4S fuel injection system, it could be done. However, Toyota would have to share the inner workings of it with Subaru, and as we know, they don't like sharing. It was never gonna happen. Plus, Subaru was adamantly against using direct injection in their engines, as they simply had never been able to make it work properly. Once again, the project was stalled. Until Toyota's head of engine development, Shinzo Kobuki, got involved. Kobuki was the man responsible for the engine in the original AE86, and if there was anyone that could smooth things over between the two companies, it was him. The end result was Toyota gave over the tech and agreed to handle any and all warranty issues that came as a result. Finally, the two companies combined their expertise to create the heart of Tada's new car, and in 2011, at the Tokyo Motor Show, Toyota unveiled what would become possibly the single most important sports car of the new century, the GT86.
195 horsepower, perfect design proportions, insanely good balance, and the cherry on top of this bite-sized cake, a manual transmission. Now, say hello everybody to the Prius and its inexpensive low-resistant tires. The same tire, believe it or not, that was slapped onto the 86. Not because they were low performance, but because they allowed the car to slide easily and allowed the driver to feel the chassis at normal speeds, just like the Hachiroku. And judging by the amount of 86 I see doing illegal things on public roads, It's safe to say the decision was a massive hit.
You could drift this car while reading a book. So I did.
Toyota, Subaru, and Toyota's hot young American brand Scion all sold their own version of the 86. A combined 27,000 units were delivered in the very first year. And the success transferred over to the track as well, where the new GT86 race car was a double class winner at the 2012 24 Hours of Nürburgring. Throughout the rest of the 2010s, when Vine was dying off and Elon Musk was becoming a supreme overlord, the 86 kept selling and bringing smiles per mile to everyone. And with the top trim costing under $30,000, I would argue that anyone who's had the opportunity to drive one of these things on a twisty road in absolute anger falls absolutely in love. Well, everyone except the pitchfork-wielding individuals who harassed Toyota about the 86 being slow and outdated. So how did Toyota respond? Well, 2 letters, G and R. You see, when Toyota schemed the next-gen 86, the project was already laid out for them. Those angry rioters I mentioned earlier, yeah, they were right about a lot of things. And Toyota had a list of several issues they needed to sort out, where this new GR86 would fall on its face in the showroom. Supra. Anyways, first up, Toyota needed to send the Boxer to the weight room because the last car had the biggest torque hole known to mankind. Yeah, that 3 to 4,500 RPM range. Woof. There was just nothing there, no guts. Next, they had to get the interior right. The last car had a half-assed version of what we got in the base Impreza, and this time, no sir, we couldn't have that. Then there was the clutch. Because of its short throw, amongst other things, there were reports that you couldn't get the fucking thing in gear a lot of the time. That being said, we never experienced that on any of the 86 that we've driven, including the 2013 FRS that we just bought. Yes, we did buy the cheapest FRS in the nation that broke down on the way home and gave inspiration to this pedal dance shirt. So if you like 86s, like, subscribe for more content, and snag a limited edition tee while you're at it. Now, this is where most companies would fail, but Toyota isn't most companies. They fixed everything. The GR86 came out of the gates with banging torque, more horsepower, a swanky interior, and the smoothest clutch in its class. And no turbo, because A, it would totally change the character of the car, and B, it would drive the cost up above their market targets. Plus, it didn't go all BMW on us and ruin the design. Supra? It's the same size as the old one, but it looks eons more muscular and sporty. They freaking nailed this one, folks. And that brings us to today, where the GR86 is coming into the stage of special editions and new, questionable variants like a possible weird sedan version. To be honest, the writing is on the wall here, people. While another new 86 is likely, there's a decent chance it's going to be a very different car from what we have now. But we can only really be thankful. Toyota gave us everything else we wanted from a car that had already redefined and reignited the joy of driving. It became the pinnacle of a segment that it led for a decade prior, and it will leave us as the shining example of what once was. And in my opinion, maybe the best genuine sports car ever made. It may not be officially be dead yet, but the 86 will never be the same. Thanks for watching. We hoped you liked the video and maybe learned something at least. I mean, you might have just been on your phone eating breakfast the whole time, but still, we appreciate the support. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment down below on your thoughts of the 86 and, what we should do to ours. Also, snag some swag, check out these Ideal vids. I'm Brad, this is Ideal, and promise me one thing, keep living the Ideal lifestyle.